Hey friends, Dmitry here, your go-to injury lawyer. Today, we're diving into a crucial topic that affects every driver, understanding why minimum auto insurance coverage leaves you exposed and might not be enough to truly protect you after an accident. So let me ask you, when was the last time you actually checked your policy limits? What is the problem with the state minimum policy coverage? And should you be worried about it? Well, the answer is yes. If you care about your and your family's security and financial well-being. In our practice, we've handled dozens of cases where liability was not disputed, injuries were significant, and everything seemed solid. Except one thing, the at-fault driver had minimum policy limits. And oftentimes that meant that our clients couldn't be fully compensated. Well, you might wonder, why not just sue the at-fault driver? Well, here's the reality. People who carry minimal or no insurance are often what we call judgment proof. That means that even if you win in court, there's nothing to collect, meaning no assets and no income. You'll be left with a piece of paper that says you're owed money and no way to really get it. Now let's take a look at current state minimum insurance requirements. In North Carolina, they actually have gone up. As of July 1st, 2025, it is $50,000 per person, $100,000 for the entire accident for bodily injury, $50,000 for property damage. A recent and welcomed improvement, but still not always enough. In South Carolina, conversely, it is still $25,000 per person, $50,000 per accident for bodily injury, and $25,000 for property damage. This remains one of the lowest limits in the nation. Now, in order for all of this to make sense and sink in, let's look at three real-world scenarios that show the risk. Let's take a look at scenario number one, multi-vehicle accidents. When several people are injured in a crash, the at-fault driver's policy limits must be divided amongst all of the claimants. This results in everyone getting less, and in many cases, not enough to even cover medical bills. Scenario number two, a more severe accident than your typical fender bender. Currently, one ER visit alone can cost upwards of $20,000. Add on top of that imaging, therapy, follow-ups, and the bills skyrocket. If the at-fault driver carries only $25,000 in liability coverage, you could be on the hook personally for the rest of the bills. And scenario number three, uninsured drivers. I don't know if you knew this, but roughly 1 in 7 drivers on the roads in the United States are uninsured. That's a frightening number. And if you don't have adequate uninsured motorist coverage, you could be stuck with nothing. So how do you protect yourself? Here's how you can shield yourself and your family from these unfortunate situations that happen way too often. Number one, proper liability coverage. Get at least $100,000 per person or $300,000 for the entire accident. This protects you if you're at fault and protects you in case the at-fault party ever files a lawsuit against you. Number two, uninsured and underinsured motorist coverage, or UM/UIM for short. Make sure that said coverage matches your liability limits we've just discussed. The UM/UIM coverage is what steps in to protect you when the at-fault driver has either no coverage or too little coverage. Number three, property damage coverage. Aim for at least $50,000 in PD coverage. That is because most cars on the road today cost more than that. And I'm sure that you don't want to pay out of pocket if someone else sues you for totaling out their car, because if you have any assets whatsoever, they will go after you and sue you personally. Number four is MedPay, or short for medical payments coverage. MedPay is one of the most underrated coverages. It pays for your medical bills regardless of who's at fault, up to the chosen limit. I recommend a minimum of $5,000 in MedPay, but go higher if you can afford it, as it is fairly inexpensive and covers every passenger that was in your vehicle. There's a bunch of other coverages as well, like rental coverage, mechanical breakdowns, etc. And again, it's up to you whether you want to opt for those, but these are the absolute minimum coverages that you should have on your policy. 5. Collision and comprehensive coverage. While the main point of this video was to raise awareness of the risks associated with having state minimum policy limits, since we're on the subject of protecting yourself with adequate coverage, I feel it necessary to also highlight the importance of having quote-unquote full coverage. That is, in addition to protecting yourself against liability to others, you also need to protect yourself fully and have collision and comprehensive coverage for your own vehicle. Collision and comprehensive insurance are two types of car insurance coverage that protect your vehicle from damage. Collision insurance covers damage to your car if you hit another vehicle or object, while comprehensive insurance covers damage from events other than collisions, such as theft, vandalism, or weather damage like hail, storm, or flood. Now, once again, this is not meant to be a fully exhaustive list of all the policies out there. It's simply meant to give you guidance and understanding as to the minimum limits that you should have. However, you should talk to your insurance agent to have them craft a policy and create a policy that will better fit your needs for your particular situation. So here's a summary of a few key takeaways from this video. Minimum state policy limits may protect you legally, but not financially, in that typically they're insufficient to cover the entire accident due to inflation and overall higher cost of living. Your own policy is your first and sometimes only line of defense, so make sure to have adequate limits. Uninsured and underinsured coverage can make or break your case, so it's an absolute must-have. MedPay helps you breathe easier, knowing your initial treatment costs will be covered. Review your policy. Talk to your insurance agent. It's not about spending more, it's about protecting yourself more. Drive safe, stay informed, and call us at 704-900-7675 if you need any help. See you in the next one.